The Tragedy of Titus Andronicus, Act 5. Scene 1. Flourish, enter Lucius with an army of Goths, with drums and soldiers. Lucius. Approved warriors and my faithful friends, I have received letters from great Rome, which signifies what hate they bear their emperor, and how desirous of our sight they are. Therefore, great lords, be as your titles witness, imperious and impatient of your wrongs, and wherein Rome hath done you any scathe, let him make treble satisfaction. Brave slip, sprung from the great Andronicus, whose name was once our terror, now our comfort, whose high exploits and honorable deeds ingrateful Rome requites with foul contempt. Be bold in us, we'll follow where thou leadest, like stinging bees in hottest summer's day, led by their master to flowered fields, and be avenged on cursed Tamora. And as he saith, so say we all with him. I humbly thank him, and I thank you all. But who comes here, led by a lusty Goth? Renowned Lucius, from our troops I strayed to gaze upon a ruinous monastery, and as I earnestly did fix mine eye upon the wasted building, suddenly I heard a child cry underneath a wall. I made unto the noise, when I soon heard the crying babe controlled with this discourse: Peace, tawny slave, have me and half thy dame. Do not thy hue bewray whose brat thou art. Had nature lent thee but thy mother's look, villain, thou mightest have been an emperor. But where the bull and cow are both milk white, they never do beget a coal-black calf. Peace, villain, peace! Even thus he rates the babe, for I must bear thee to a trusty Goth, who, when he knows thou art the empress's babe, will hold thee dearly for thy mother's sake. With this, my weapon drawn, I rushed upon him, surprised him suddenly, and brought him hither, to use, as you think, needful of the man. O worthy Goth, this is the incarnate devil that robbed Andronicus of his good hand. This is the pearl that pleased your empress's eye, and here's the base fruit of her burning lust. Say, wall-eyed slave, whither wouldest thou convey this growing image of thy fiend-like face? Why dost not speak? What, deaf? Not a word. A halter, soldiers! Hang him on this tree, and by his side his fruit of bastardy. Touch not the boy, he is of royal blood, too like the sire for ever being good. First hang the child, that he may see it sprawl, a sight to vex the father's soul withal. Get me a ladder. Lucius, save the child, and bear it from me to the empress. If thou do this, I'll show thee wondrous things, that highly may advantage thee to hear. If thou wilt not, befall what may befall. I'll speak no more, but vengeance wrought you all. Say on, and if it please me which thou speakest, thy child shall live, and I will see it nourished. And if it please thee, why, assure thee, Lucius, 'twill vex thy soul to hear what I shall speak, for I must talk of murders, rapes, and massacres, acts of black night, abominable deeds, complots of mischief, treason, villainies, ruthful to hear, yet piteously performed. And this shall all be buried in my death, unless thou swear to me my child shall live. Tell on thy mind, I say thy child shall live. Swear that he shall, and then I will begin. Who should I swear by? Thou believest no God. That granted, how canst thou believe an oath? What if I do not, as indeed I do not? Yet, for I know thou art religious, and hast a thing within thee called conscience, with 20 popish tricks and ceremonies, which I have seen thee careful to observe. Therefore I urge thy oath, for that I know an idiot holds his bauble for a god, and keeps the oath which by that god he swears. To that I'll urge him. Therefore thou shalt vow by that same God, what God soever it be, that thou adorest and hast in reverence, to save my boy, to nourish and bring him up, or else I will discover naught to thee. Even by my God I swear to thee I will. First know thou, I begot him on the Empress. O most insatiate and luxurious woman! Tut, Lucius, this was but a deed of charity to that which thou shalt hear of me anon. 'Twas her 2 sons that murdered Bassianus. They cut thy sister's tongue, and ravished her, and cut her hands, and trimmed her as thou sawest. O detestable villain, callest thou that trimming? Why, she was washed, and cut, and trimmed, and 'twas trim sport for them which had the doing of it. O barbarous, beastly villains like thyself! Indeed, I was their tutor to instruct them. That codding spirit had they from their mother, as sure a card as ever won the set. That bloody mind I think they learned of me, as true a dog as ever fought at head. Well, let my deeds be witness of my worth. I trained thy brethren to that guileful hole where the dead corpse of Bassianus lay. I wrote the letter that thy father found, and hid the gold within that letter mentioned, confederate with the queen and her 2 sons. And what not done, that thou hast cause to rue, wherein I had no stroke of mischief in it. I played the cheater for thy father's hand, and when I had it, drew myself apart, and almost broke my heart with extreme laughter. I pried me through the crevice of a wall, when for his hand he had his 2 sons' heads, beheld his tears, and laughed so heartily that both mine eyes were rainy like to his. And when I told the Empress of this sport, she sounded almost as at my pleasing tale, and for my tidings gave me 20 kisses. What, canst thou say all this and never blush? Like a black dog, as the saying is? Art thou not sorry for these heinous deeds? That I had not done 1,000 more. Even now I curse the day, and yet I think few come within the compass of my curse, wherein I did not some notorious ill, as kill a man, or else devise his death, ravish a maid, or plot the way to do it, accuse some innocent, and forswear myself, set deadly enmity between 2 friends, make poor men's cattle break their necks, set on fire barns and haystacks in the night, and bid the owners quench them with their tears. Oft have I digged up dead men from their graves, and set them upright at their dear friend's door, even when their sorrows almost was forgot, and on their skins, as on the bark of trees, have with my knife carved in Roman letters, "Let not your sorrow die, though I am dead." But I have done 1,000 dreadful things, as willingly as one would kill a fly, and nothing grieves me heartily indeed, but that I cannot do 10,000 more. Bring down the devil, for he must not die so sweet a death as hanging presently. If there be devils, would I were a devil, to live and burn in everlasting fire, so I might have your company in hell, but to torment you with my bitter tongue. Sirs, stop his mouth, and let him speak no more. My lord, there is a messenger from Rome, desires to be admitted to your presence. Let him come near. Welcome, Aemilius. What's the news from Rome? Lord Lucius, and you, princes of the Goths, the Roman emperor greets you all by me, and for he understands you are in arms, he craves a parley at your father's house, willing you to demand your hostages, and they shall be immediately delivered. What says our general? Aemilius, let the emperor give his pledges unto my father and my uncle Marcus, and we will come. March away. Scene 2. Enter Timora and her 2 sons, Demetrius and Chiron, disguised. Timora. Thus, in this strange and sad habiliment, I will encounter with Andronicus, and say I am revenge, sent from below, to join with him and right his heinous wrongs. Knock at his study, where they say he keeps to ruminate strange plots of dire revenge. Tell him revenge is come to join with him, and work confusion on his enemies. They knock, and Titus above opens his study door. Titus. Who doth molest my contemplation? Is it your trick to make me ope the door, that so my sad decrees may fly away, and all my study be to no effect? You are deceived, for what I mean to do, see here in bloody lines I have set down, and what is written shall be executed. Titus, I am come to talk with thee. No, not a word, how can I grace my talk, wanting a hand to give it that accord? Thou hast the odds of me, therefore no more. If thou didst know me, thou wouldst talk with me. I am not mad, I know thee well enough. Witness this wretched stump, witness these crimson lines, witness these trenches made by grief and care, witness the tiring day and the heavy night, witness all sorrow, and all I know thee well, for our proud empress, mighty Timora, is not thy coming for my other hand? No, thou sad man, I am not Timora. She is thy enemy, and I thy friend. I am revenge, sent from the infernal kingdom, to ease the gnawing vulture of thy mind, by working wreakful vengeance on thy foes. Come down, and welcome me to this world's light. Confer with me of murder and of death. There's not a hollow cave or lurking place, no vast obscurity or misty vale, where bloody murder or detested rape can couch for fear, but I will find them out, and in their ears tell them my dreadful name, revenge, which makes the foul offender quake. Art thou revenge, and art thou sent to me to be a torment to my enemies? I am, therefore, come down and welcome me. Do me some service ere I come to thee. Lo, by thy side where rape and murder stands. Now give some assurance that thou art revenge. Stab them or tear them on thy chariot wheels, and then I'll come and be thy wagoner, and whirl along with thee about the globes. Provide thee 2 proper palfreys, black as jet, to hail thy vengeful wagons swift away, and find out murderers in their guilty caves. And when thy car is loaden with their heads, I will dismount, and by thy wagon wheel trot like a servile footman all day long, even from Hypernium's rising in the east until his very downfall in the sea. And by day, day by day, I'll do this heavy task, so thou destroy rapine and murder there. These are my ministers, and come with me. Are they thy ministers? What are they called? Rape and murder, therefore called so, 'cause they take vengeance of such kind of men. Good Lord, how like the Empress's sons they are, and you the Empress, but we worldly men have miserable, mad, mistaking eyes. O sweet revenge, now do I come to thee, and if one arm's embracement will content thee, I will embrace thee in it by and by. This closing with him fits his lunacy. Whatever I forge to feed his brain-sick humors, do you uphold and maintain in your speeches. For now he firmly takes me for revenge, and being credulous in this mad thought, I'll make him send for Lucius his son, and whilst I at a banquet hold him sure, I'll find some cunning practice out of hand, to scatter and disperse the giddy Goths, or at the least make them his enemies. See, here he comes, and I must ply my theme. Long have I been forlorn, and all for thee. Welcome, dread Fury, to my woeful house. Rapine and murder, you are welcome too. How like the Empress and her sons you are! Well are you fitted, had you but a more. Could not all hell afford you such a devil? For well I wot the Empress never wags, but in her company there is a more. And would you represent our queen aright, it were convenient you had such a devil. But welcome as you are, what shall we do? What wouldst thou have us do, Andronicus? Show me a murderer, I'll deal with him. Show me a villain that hath done a rape, and I am sent to be revenged on him. Show me 1,000 that hath done thee wrong, and I will be revenged on them all. Look round about the wicked streets of Rome, and when thou findest a man that's like thyself, good murther, stab him, he's a murderer. Go thou with him, and when it is thy hap to find another that is like to thee, good rapine, stab him, he is a ravisher. Go thou with them, and in the emperor's court there is a queen attended by a Moor. Well shalt thou know her by thine own apportion, for up and down she doth resemble thee. I pray thee do on them some violent death. They have been violent to me and mine. Well, hast thou lessoned us, this shall we do. But would it please thee, good Andronicus, to send for Lucius, thy thrice valiant son, who leads towards Rome a band of warlike Goths, and bid him come and banquet at thy house. When he is here, even at thy solemn feast, I will bring in the Empress and her sons, the Emperor himself, and all thy foes, and at thy mercy shall they stoop and kneel, and on them shalt thou ease thy angry heart. What says Andronicus to this device? Marcus, my brother, 'tis sad Titus calls. Go, gentle Marcus, to thy nephew Lucius. Thou shalt inquire him out among the Goths. Bid him repair to me, and bring with him some of the chiefest princes of the Goths. Bid him encamp his soldiers where they are. Tell him the Emperor and the Empress to feast at my house, and he shall feast with them. This do thou for my love, and so let him, as he regards for his aged father's life. This will I do, and soon return again. Now will I hence about thy business, and take my ministers along with me. Nay, nay, let rape and murder stay with me. or else I'll call my brother back again, and cleave to no revenge but Lucius. What say you, boys? Will you abide with him, whiles I go tell my lord the emperor how I have governed our determined jest? Yield to his humour, smooth and speak him fair, and tarry with him till I turn again. I knew them all, though they supposed me mad, and will overreach them in their own devices, a pair of cursed hellhounds and their dame. Madame, depart at pleasure, leave us here. Farewell, Andronicus, revenge now goes to lay a complot to betray thy foes. I know thou dost, and sweet revenge, farewell. Tell us, old man, how shall we be employed? Tut, I have work enough for you to do. Publius, come hither, Caius and Valentine. What is your will? Know you these two? The empress's sons, I take them, Chiron, Demetrius. Fie, Publius, fie, thou art too much deceived. The one is murder, and rape is the other's name, and therefore bind them, gentle Publius. Caius and Valentine, lay hands on them. Oft have you heard me wish for such an hour, and now I find it. Therefore bid them sure, and stop their mouths if they begin to cry. Villains, forbear, we are the empress's sons, and therefore do we what we are commanded. Stop close their mouths, let them not speak a word. Is he sure bound? Look that you bind them fast. Enter Titus Andronicus with a knife, and Lavinia with a basin. Come, come, Lavinia, look at thy foes are bound. Sirs, stop their mouths, let them speak to me. Let them not speak to me, but let them hear what fearful words I utter. O villains, Chiron and Demetrius, here stands the spring whom you have stained with mud. This goodly summer with your winter mixed. You killed her husband, and for that vile fault 2 of her brothers were condemned to death. My hand cut off, and made a merry jest. Both her sweet hands, her tongue, and that more dear than our hands or tongue, her spotless chastity, inhuman traitors, you constrained and forced. What would you say if I should let you speak? Villains, for shame, you could not beg for grace. Hark, wretches, how I mean to martyr you. This one hand yet is left to cut your throats, whiles that Lavinia 'tween her stumps doth hold the basin that receives your guilty blood. You know your mother means to feast with me, and calls herself revenge, and thinks me mad. Hark, villains, I will grind your bones to dust, and with your blood I'll make a paste, and of the paste a coffin I will rear, and make 2 pasties of your shameful heads, and bid that strumpet, your unhallowed dam, like to the earth swallow her own increase. This is the feast that I have bid her to, and this the banquet she shall surfeit on. For worse than Philomel you used my daughter, and worse than pronged I will be revenged. And now prepare your throats. Lavinia, come, receive the blood, and when that they are dead, let me go grind their bones to powder small, and with this hateful liquor temper it, and in that paste let their vile heads be baked. Come, come, be very one officious to make this banquet, which I wish may prove more stern and bloody than the centaur's feast. He cuts their throats. So now bring them in, for I'll play the cook, and see them ready against their mother comes. Scene 3. Enter Lucius, Marcus, and the Goths, with Aaron prisoner and his child in the arms of an attendant. Lucius. Uncle Marcus, since 'tis my father's mind that I repair to Rome, I am content. And ours with thine befall what fortune will. Good uncle, take you this barbarous Moor, this ravenous tiger, this accursed devil. Let him receive no sustenance, fetter him, till he be brought unto the empress's face, for testimony of her foul proceedings, and see the ambush of our friends be strong. I fear the emperor means no good to us. Some devil whisper curses in my ear, and prompt me that my tongue may utter forth the venomous malice of my swelling heart. Away, inhuman dog, unhallowed slave! Sirs, help our uncle to convey him in. The trumpets show the emperor is at hand. What hath the firmament more sons than one? What boots it thee to call thyself a son? Rome's emperor and nephew, break the parle. These quarrels must be quietly debated. The feast is ready which the careful Titus hath ordained to an honorable end, for peace, for love, for league, and to good to Rome. Please you, therefore, draw nigh and take your places. Marcus, we will. Trumpet sounding, entered Titus like a cook, placing the dishes, and Lavinia, with a veil over her face, young Lucius and others. Titus. Welcome, my lord. Welcome, dread queen. Welcome, ye warlike Goths. Welcome, Lucius, and welcome all. Although the cheer be poor, 'twill fill your stomachs. Please, you eat of it. Why art thou thus attired, Andronicus? Because I would be sure to have all well, to entertain your highness and your empress. We are beholding to you, good Andronicus, and if your highness knew my heart, you were. My lord the emperor, resolve me this, was it well done of rash Virginius to slay his daughter with his own right hand, because she was enforced, stained, and deflowered? It was, Andronicus, your reason, mighty lord, because the girl should not survive her shame, and by her presence still renew his sorrows. A reason mighty, strong, and effectual, a pattern, precedent, and a lively warrant for me, most wretched, to perform the like. Die, die, Lavinia, and thy shame with thee, and with thy shame thy father's sorrow die. He kills her. Saturnine. What hast thou done, unnatural and unkind? Killed her for whom my tears have made me blind. I am as woeful as Virginius was, and have 1,000 times more cause than he to do this outrage, and it is now done. What, was she ravished? Tell who did the deed. Will it please you eat? Will it please your highness feed? Why hast thou slain thine only daughter thus? Not I, 'twas Chiron and Demetrius. They ravished her, and cut away her tongue, and 'twas they that did her all this wrong. Go fetch them hither to us presently. Why, there they are, both baked in this pie, whereof their mother daintily hath fed, eating the flesh that she herself hath bred. 'Tis true, witness my knive's sharp point. Die, he stabs the empress, Saturnine. Die, frantic wretch, for this accursed deed. Kills Titus, Lucius. Can the son's eye behold his father bleed? There's meed for meed, death for a deadly deed. Kills Saturninus. A great tumult, exude Lucius, Marcus, Aemilius, and others, and enter above. Marcus. You sad-faced men, people and sons of Rome, by uproars severed, as a flight of fowl, scattered by winds and high tempestuous gusts, Oh, let me teach you how to knit again the scattered corn into one mutual sheaf, these broken limbs again into one body. Let Rome herself be bane unto herself, and she whom mighty kingdoms curtsy to, like a forlorn and desperate castaway, do shameful execution on herself. But if my frosty signs and chaps of age give witness of true experience, cannot induce you to attend my words. Speak, Rome's dear friend, as erst our ancestor, when with his solemn tongue he did discourse to lovesick Dito's sad attending ear, the story of that baleful burning night when subtle Greeks surprised King Priam's Troy. Tell us what Simon hath bewitched our ears, or who hath brought the fatal engine in that gives our Troy, our Rome, the civil wound. My heart is not compact of flint nor steel, nor can I utter all our bitter grief, but floods of tears will drown my oratory, and break my utterance, even in the time when it should move ye to attend me most, and force you to commiseration. Here's Rome's young captain, let him tell the tale, while I stand by and weep to hear him speak. Then, gracious auditory, be it known to you that Chiron and the damned Demetrius were they that murdered our emperor's brother, and they it were that ravished our sister. For their fell faults our brothers were beheaded, our father's tears despised, and basely cozened of that true hand that fought Rome's quarrel out, and sent her enemies unto the grave. Lastly, myself unkindly banished, the gates shut on me, and turned weeping out, to beg relief among Rome's enemies, who drowned their enmity in my true tears, and oped their arms to embrace me as a friend. I am the turned forth, be it known to you, that have preserved her welfare in my blood, and from her bosom took the enemy's point, sheathing the steel in my adventurous body. Alas, you know I am no vaunter, my scars can witness, dumb although they are, that my report is just and full of truth. But soft, methinks I do digress too much, citing my worthless praise. Oh, pardon me, for when no friends are by, men praise themselves. Now is my turn to speak. Behold the child, pointing to Aaron's child in the arms of an attendant. Of this was Tamora delivered, the issue of an irreligious Moor, chief architect and plotter of these woes. The villain is alive in Titus's house, and as he is to witness, this is true. Now judge what cause had Titus to revenge these wrongs unspeakable, past patience, or more than any living man could bear. Now have you heard the truth? What say you, Romans? Have we done aught amiss? Show us wherein, and from the place where you behold us pleading, the poor remainder of Andronicus will hand in hand all headlong hurl ourselves, and on the ragged stones beat forth our souls, and make a mutual closure of our house. Speak, Romans, speak, and if you say we shall, lo, hand in hand, Lucius and I will fall. Come, come, thou reverend man of Rome, and bring our emperor gently in thy hand. Lucius our emperor, for well I know, the common voice to cry it shall be so. Lucius all hail, Rome's royal emperor. Go, go into old Titus's sorrowful house, and hither hail that misbelieving Moor, to be adjudged some direful slaughtering death, as punishment for his most wicked life. Lucius all hail, Rome's gracious governor. Thanks, gentle Romans, may I govern so, to heal Rome's harms, and wipe her away her woe. But, gentle people, give me aim a while, for nature puts me to a heavy task. Stand all aloof, but, uncle, draw you near to shed obsequious tears upon this trunk. Oh, take this warm kiss on thy pale cold lips, these sorrowful drops upon thy blood-stained face, the last true duties of thy noble son. Tear for tear and loving kiss for kiss, thy brother Marcus tenders on thy lips. Oh, were the sum of these that I should pay countless and infinite, yet would I pay them. Come hither, boy, come, come, and learn of us to melt in showers. Thy grandsire loved thee well. Many a time he danced thee on his knee, sung thee asleep, his loving breast thy pillow. Many a story hath he told to thee, and bid thee bear his pretty tales in mind, and talk of them when he was dead and gone. How many thousand times hath these poor lips, when they were living, warmed themselves on thine. Oh, now, sweet boy, give them their latest kiss. Bid him farewell, commit him to the grave, do them that kindness, and take leave of them. Oh, grandsire, grandsire, even with all my heart would I were dead, so you did live again. Oh, Lord, I cannot speak to him for weeping. My tears will choke me if I ope my mouth. You, sad Andronici, have done with woes. Give sentence on this execrable wretch that hath been breeder of these dire events. Set him breast deep in earth and famish him. There let him stand and rave and cry for food. If anyone relieves or pities him, for the offense he dies. This is our doom. Some stay to see him fastened in the earth. Ah, why should wrath be mute and fury dumb? I am no baby, I, that with base prayers I should repent the evils I have done. 10,000 worse than ever yet I did would I perform if I might have my will. If one good deed in all my life I did, I do repent it from my very soul. Some loving friends convey the emperor hence, and give him burial in his father's grave. My father and Lavinia shall forthwith be closed in our household's monument. As for that ravenous tiger Timora, no funeral rite, nor man in mourning weed, no mournful bell shall ring her burial, but throw her forth to beasts and birds to prey. Her life was beastly and devoid of pity, and being dead, let birds on her take pity. End of the tragedy of Titus Andronicus. Amen. Praise be to God. Jesus Christ. Jah Rastafari the Most High. Bless William Shakespeare.